Welcome to the NIST Risk Management Framework Implementation course. Over the next 20 minutes, we'll walk through this comprehensive program covering all 7 steps of the RMF: prepare, categorize, select, implement, assess, authorize, and monitor, with all 47 tasks explained and demonstrated using the CyberSec Solutions case study. The course also includes hands-on assignments with TechSecure Banking. Let's get started. Let's begin with the foundations. The NIST Risk Management Framework is a structured approach developed by the National Institute of Standards and Technology to help organizations manage cybersecurity risks throughout the life cycle of their information systems. It's mandatory for federal agencies and widely adopted across private industry. Before diving into the 7 steps, here are the core concepts you need to understand. NIST's Special Publication 837 is the primary document that defines the entire RMF process. Now in Revision 2, it outlines the 7 steps, 47 tasks, and the roles and responsibilities involved. This publication is your roadmap for the entire implementation process. NIST SP 853 provides the comprehensive catalog of security and privacy controls that organizations select from during the RMF process. It organizes over 1,000 controls into 20 families covering access control, audit, incident response, risk assessment, and more. The course covers the structure and how to navigate this catalog effectively. Authorization to operate, or ATO, is the formal decision by an authorizing official that allows an information system to operate. It's based on the determination that the residual risk to the organization is acceptable. Achieving ATO is the primary goal of the RMF process and requires a complete authorization package demonstrating that security controls are properly implemented. Continuous monitoring is the ongoing process that maintains awareness of an organization's security posture after a system receives its ATO. It includes monitoring system changes, conducting ongoing assessments, reporting security status, and making risk-based decisions about continued authorization. This is what makes the RMF a living, continuous process rather than a one-time exercise. Here are the 7 steps of the NIST Risk Management Framework that form the backbone of the entire process. Step 1 is prepare, the foundation for the entire RMF process. This step has 18 tasks covering organizational and system-level preparation. You establish risk management roles, define the risk management strategy, conduct organizational risk assessments, identify common controls, set impact level prioritization, and define the continuous monitoring strategy. The course walks through all 18 prepare tasks using CyberSec Solutions as the case study. Steps 2 and 3 are categorize and select. In Categorize, you describe the system, determine its security categorization based on FIPS 199 impact levels, low, moderate, or high, for confidentiality, integrity, and availability, and get that categorization approved. In Select, you choose security controls from NIST 853, tailor them to your environment, allocate them to system components, and document your implementation plan. Steps 4 and 5 are implement and assess. In Implement, you deploy the selected security controls and update your implementation documentation. In Assess, you select an assessor, develop an assessment plan, conduct the control assessments, produce assessment reports, and create a plan of action and milestones for any deficiencies found. These steps ensure controls actually work in practice. Steps 6 and 7 are authorize and monitor. In Authorize, you prepare the authorization package, conduct risk analysis, determine the risk response, and the authorizing official makes the formal authorization decision. In Monitor, you track system changes, conduct ongoing assessments, respond to risks, update the authorization package, report security status, and manage ongoing authorization and system disposal. Now let's dive into the first 2 steps, prepare and categorize. Prepare is the largest step with 18 tasks, and categorize determines the security impact level that drives all subsequent control selection decisions. The prepare step has both organization-level and system-level tasks. Here are the 7 critical organization-level tasks. Task P. 1 identifies and assigns risk management roles. You define who serves as the risk executive, authorizing official, Chief Information Security Officer, System Owner, and Information System Security Officer. At CyberSec Solutions, the course shows how a mid-sized cybersecurity firm structures these roles and assigns clear responsibilities. Task P2 establishes the risk management strategy, how the organization will assess, respond to, and monitor risk. This includes defining risk tolerance levels, risk assessment methodologies, and risk response strategies. The CyberSec case study demonstrates building a comprehensive strategy document from scratch. Task P3 conducts the organization-wide risk assessment. You identify threats, vulnerabilities, likelihood, and potential impact across the organization. This assessment informs all subsequent steps by establishing the risk context in which individual systems operate. Task P7 defines the continuous monitoring strategy at the organizational level. This covers what will be monitored, how often, using which tools, and how results will be reported to leadership. This strategy ensures that security is maintained as a continuous process, not just a point-in-time assessment. The Categorize step uses FIPS 199 to classify systems by the potential impact of a security breach. Let's compare the 3 impact levels. Security categorization evaluates 3 objectives: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. For each, you determine whether a breach would have low, moderate, or high impact on the organization's operations, assets, or individuals. The overall system categorization uses the high watermark principle. If any single objective is rated high, the entire system is categorized as high impact. Low impact means a breach would have limited adverse effect, minor inconvenience, or cost. Moderate means serious adverse effect with significant degradation of operations. High means severe or catastrophic effect that could result in major mission failure, serious harm to individuals, or significant financial loss. The CyberSec CRM system was categorized as moderate impact, which drives the selection of a moderate baseline of controls from NIST 800 to 53. Now let's cover Select and Implement, where you choose the right controls from NIST 800 to 53 and deploy them in your environment. These steps transform your categorization decisions into actual security measures. NIST SP 800 to 53 organizes over 1,000 controls into 20 families. Here are the key families grouped by function. Management controls focus on organizational governance. Risk assessment covers threat and vulnerability identification. Security assessment and authorization manages the assessment and ATO process. Planning addresses security plans and rules of behavior. Program management oversees the enterprise security program. And supply chain risk management addresses third-party risks, increasingly critical in today's interconnected environments. Operational controls address day-to-day security practices. Access control manages who can access what. Awareness and training ensures staff understand their security responsibilities. Incident response defines how to detect, respond to, and recover from incidents. Maintenance covers system upkeep. And personnel security addresses screening, transfers, and termination procedures. Technical controls are implemented through technology. Audit and accountability covers logging and monitoring. Identification and authentication manages user identity verification. System and communications protection addresses encryption, boundary defense, and secure communications. System and information integrity covers vulnerability management, malware protection, and integrity verification. And configuration management ensures consistent system settings. Privacy controls are an important addition in recent revisions. They cover how personally identifiable information is processed, privacy authorization requirements, data minimization principles, individual participation rights, and transparency obligations. These controls are increasingly important as privacy regulations like GDPR and CCPA expand the privacy compliance landscape. Here is the process for selecting, tailoring, and implementing controls from NIST 800 to 53. First, select the appropriate control baseline based on your FIPS 199 categorization. A low-impact system uses the low baseline, moderate uses moderate, and high uses high. Each baseline prescribes a specific set of controls from the 800 to 53 catalog. CyberSec's moderate impact CRM system started with the moderate baseline as its foundation. Second, tailor the baseline to your specific environment. You may need to add controls for unique threats, remove controls that don't apply to your technology, or modify control parameters. Tailoring must be documented with clear rationale. For example, CyberSec added enhanced encryption controls because their CRM handles sensitive client data over public networks. Third, allocate controls to specific system components. Some controls are implemented in the application, others in the network infrastructure, others in the operating system, and some are common controls inherited from the organization. Clear allocation ensures nothing falls through the gaps, and every control has an owner. Fourth, implement the controls and document exactly how each one is applied. Implementation documentation must describe how the control works in your specific environment, not just repeat the control description from 800 to 53. This documentation becomes the evidence that assessors will evaluate during the assess step. Now let's cover assess and authorize, where you verify that controls actually work and the authorizing official makes the formal risk-based decision to allow the system to operate. Here is the flow from assessment through authorization, the critical path to achieving your ATO. The process begins with selecting a qualified, independent assessor and developing the assessment plan. The assessor must have the technical expertise to evaluate your controls and be independent enough to provide an objective assessment. The assessment plan defines the scope, methodology, and schedule. At CyberSec, they selected an assessor with experience in cloud-based CRM systems. The assessor then tests each control using interviews, examination of documentation, and technical testing. Results are documented for each control as satisfied or other than satisfied. Deficiencies are described with their severity and potential impact. This produces the assessment report, a comprehensive evaluation of your system's security posture. After assessment, you remediate identified deficiencies and create a plan of action and milestones, the PONM, for any remaining items. Then you assemble the authorization package, the system security plan, assessment report, and PONM. This package gives the authorizing official everything they need to make an informed risk decision. Finally, the authorizing official evaluates the residual risk based on the authorization package and makes the decision: authorization to operate, denial of authorization, or conditional authorization with specific requirements. An ATO typically includes conditions and a time frame, after which reauthorization is required. The CyberSec CRM received a 3-year ATO with conditions around continuous monitoring. The authorization package is the evidence base for the ATO decision. Here are its key components. The system security plan is the cornerstone of the authorization package. It describes the system, its boundaries, its categorization, and provides detailed documentation of how each selected control is implemented. The SSP must be accurate, current, and specific to your system. Assessors and authorizing officials rely on it as the primary source of truth. The Security Assessment Report documents the assessor's methodology, findings, and recommendations. It provides independent verification of whether controls are implemented correctly and operating as intended. Each finding includes the specific control tested, the assessment method used, and a clear determination of whether the control is satisfied. The Plan of Action and Milestones, PONM, documents any remaining deficiencies, planned remediation actions, responsible parties, timelines, and required resources. It demonstrates to the authorizing official that identified risks will be actively managed even after authorization. A well-maintained PONM is essential for both initial authorization and ongoing monitoring. The risk determination brings everything together, analyzing residual risk by considering the assessment findings, the PONM mitigations, and the overall security posture. This analysis directly informs the authorizing official's decision. At CyberSec, the risk determination showed that residual risks were within the organization's defined risk tolerance, leading to a successful ATO. Our final section covers Step 7, Monitor. This is where the RMF becomes an ongoing process. Continuous monitoring ensures your security posture stays strong as systems, threats, and the organizational environment evolve. Step 7 has 7 tasks that form a continuous cycle. Here is how they work together. Task M, one tracks changes to the system and its operating environment. This includes hardware and software changes, configuration modifications, personnel changes, and changes to the threat landscape. At CyberSec, they implemented automated change detection tools alongside manual change management procedures to ensure nothing goes unnoticed. Task M2 conducts ongoing assessments of security controls on a defined schedule. Not all controls need to be assessed at the same frequency. High-risk and volatile controls may be assessed quarterly, while stable controls may be assessed annually. The continuous monitoring strategy defined in the Prepare step drives these assessment schedules. Task M3 responds to new risks identified through monitoring activities and ongoing assessments. Risk responses include accepting the risk, mitigating it through additional controls, transferring it, or avoiding it by changing operations. Each response must be documented and approved at the appropriate organizational level. Tasks M4 through M6 keep the authorization current. M4 updates the authorization package with new findings and changes. M5 reports the security and privacy posture to leadership and stakeholders. M6 maintains ongoing authorization by ensuring the authorizing official has current information to make continued risk-based decisions. This eliminates the need for full reauthorization when the system's risk profile hasn't fundamentally changed. Many learners wonder how the RMF relates to the NIST cybersecurity framework. Let's compare these two complementary frameworks. The NIST RMF is prescriptive. It defines specific tasks with required inputs and outputs for each step. It focuses at the system level, applying to individual information systems within an organization. It's mandatory for U.S. federal agencies and produces a formal authorization to operate. The RMF is driven by the detailed NIST SP 800-53 control catalog with over 1,000 specific controls. The NIST CSF is flexible and outcome-based, designed for voluntary adoption. It focuses at the organizational level, assessing the overall cybersecurity posture rather than individual systems. It produces maturity profiles and gap analyses rather than formal authorizations. The CSF is organized around 6 core functions. The two frameworks are complementary. The CSF provides the strategic view, while the RMF provides the tactical implementation at the system level. Let's summarize the key takeaways from this NIST RMF overview. First, the RMF is a 7-step continuous cycle with 47 tasks, not a one-time compliance project. From prepare through monitor, each step builds on the previous one and feeds back into ongoing risk management. Understanding this lifecycle perspective is essential for successful implementation. Second, security categorization drives everything. The FIPS 199 impact levels you assign, low, moderate, or high. For confidentiality, integrity, and availability determine which control baseline you start with. Getting the categorization right is critical because it sets the scope and rigor for the entire process. Third, the authorization package is your evidence base for the ATO decision. The system security plan, security assessment report, and plan of action and milestones must be complete, accurate, and current. A weak package delays authorization. A strong one demonstrates that risks are understood and managed. And fourth, continuous monitoring keeps your ATO alive. Ongoing assessments, change tracking, risk response, and security reporting are not optional extras. They're mandatory activities that maintain your authorization and ensure your security posture stays strong. In the full course, you'll master all 47 tasks with templates, the CyberSec case study, and TechSecure Banking assignments. That wraps up our overview of the NIST Risk Management Framework. In the full Udemy course, you'll get 118 detailed lessons covering all 7 steps and 47 tasks, the complete NIST 800-53 control structure, the CyberSec Solutions case study, TechSecure Banking assignments, and all the templates you need. Click the link below or scan the QR code to enroll and start implementing the NIST RMF today. Thank you for watching. If this overview was useful, subscribe for more IT governance, risk, and compliance content. See you in the next video.